Hello everyone, and I'm very happy to have with me a proud Amazonian, Dr. Mahak Golani, and she's done really well in NEET 2020. Heartiest
Thank you, ma'am.
congratulations. And Mahak has shown a tremendous improvement. Her last year rank in NEET was 13,000. And she's now come down to a Delhi rank 12 and an overall rank of 227, which is absolutely amazing performance. So heartiest congratulations, Mahak.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Mahak, I really want to know, हम अभी बात कर रहे थे, that last year when we had a rank of 13,000, right? How difficult was it to decide for you to drop again and prepare again and wait for another year to get the dream branch?
Last year, actually, I had left studies in the last month, so I was not really expecting much. So I'd already decided that I would prepare I would give my best in my drop year. So that's why it wasn't really difficult for me. Actually, I had my friend also, Meenal, who used to study with me. So it was really easy because the both of us pulled each other up, and we helped each other a lot. So it was a smooth year for me.
That's great. And she's been a foundation student with us, and then she followed up with test and discussion and internship as well as in this year when she dropped, right? So Mahak, I really want to first ask you कि इस बार जब हम दोबारा से तैयारी कर रहे थे, what did you think about your preparation and how did you decide that okay, you will join a test and discussion course and you will go along with it and you will prepare with it?
Actually, I already had the notes with me, so I just thought that because test and discussion is like an updates only, and I used to practice the test, so I had already decided I would do test and discussion only.
Okay.
And I actually like to read from my handwritten notes, so there was no point in joining the regular classes again, and it would have been a really long hours of classes, and I needed some self-study time also. So that's why I decided that I would join T&D batch.
Yes, and that's actually, because you'd done the foundation course before. So she had her set of notes and she decided to go ahead with test and discussion. Now we want to really know, Bache, how did you really prepare? For example, if we ask you the strategy, there are many students who are going to be at this rank this year who are probably thinking of dropping and giving another year to it, right? So, कैसे हमने TND के साथ पढ़ाई करी? What was your schedule?
I used to study like for the week, the test I had in that week, I used to study on mainly that subject.
Okay.
And I used to keep giving grant tests also along with it, so that the previous subjects I could keep on revising them.
Right.
Initially, it was difficult. I used to score low in the grant tests and everything, but I just kept on giving them. I just did not quit giving the grant test. Many people say that it's not good to give grant tests before studying all the subjects, but I think that it's a way of seeing those questions which I have not read about, and my approach towards that questions, which is very important according to me. And secondly, also the subjects that I had read a long time back, they also I keep on revising them subconsciously.
Yes, it definitely acts like a passive revision.
Yeah.
Yes, and it gives you a good insight on how a particular topic is going to be framed into MCQs and asked to you. एक और चीज़ महक, I would like to ask you here that you gave the last year NEET paper as well, and this year NEET paper as well, and they were very different papers with respect to how they had put up the questions, right? And still you were able to do a massive improvement in your rank. So what would you like to comment on that? So do you agree that rather than solving thousands and thousands of MCQs, it was more important that you cleared your concept, because this paper was very conceptual?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, the concepts I already had I had joined the foundation course and pre-foundation course, and the main focus in those years were mainly the concepts.
Yeah.
So I think conceptual reading is more important than just solving many MCQs. MCQ solving is also important, but just so that you have an idea how to approach the questions.
That's right.
That's not the basic thing. Like, I think basic thing is the concept.
Yes. So rather than trying to learn the theory or the content from the MCQ, it should be learning the approach towards the question, Right. And Mehak, मैं ये भी पूछना चाहूँगी, after the paper or after you came and gave the test and you attended the discussion, how did you plan that subject then? I mean, did you write down certain topics which you thought you were weak in and you're going to revise, or how did you keep moving further and taking care of things that were done previously as well?
Actually, after the test and discussion, many times I couldn't complete the course for the test, so I first of all tried to revise those topics.
Okay.
And the next day after test and discussion, I used to make it a point that I used to revise the notes I made in test and discussion. I always used to do that. That was my first priority.
Okay.
And after that, I used to make a list of the topics. Basically, I made it in the end in November, the week topics. I made a list of the week topics in November, around November.
Okay.
And I used to just small topics, not major chunk, just small topics, and I used to just put a tick when I used to do it, so I used to feel good that I've done that.
Great. And also, you said you were giving the grant test right from the beginning.
Yes,
Again, a lot of people really ask, I would like to ask you, how did you utilize the videos of the grant test, and did you make a copy for the grant test and the subject-wise test, or to understand how you're going to go about the topics covered there?
Actually, I added the notes from the grant test in my main notes only because I don't like to open many sources again and again.
So you wrote those things in the main notes
Yes,
itself, right? And also, I would like to ask, in terms of updates and how the TND papers were framed this year, do you think they were still good enough for, even though the pattern changed and they give you a good insight on how things are going to be asked?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, the TND paper, especially of medicine, CVS, I guess, that was like neat only. That was entirely clinical.
Right.
So that many papers were many clinical, but I specifically remember that paper. I don't know why.
And yes, primarily the medicine, surgery, OG are the ones which are typically asked in a clinical format, right? Okay. And now also I would like to ask you, when you finished with your test and discussion course, right? Let's say, or from the mid-year, did you change your strategy henceforth?
Actually, no, I did not change my strategy.
So how did you plan your revision after that?
I attended the DVT classes and I had already started the revision, and most of my revision was passive revision. I couldn't reread the entire topics every day. So I used to just see which topics I am weak in. I used to read those topics from from my main notes only.
Okay.
And after DVT, I revised DVT also. And I tried to revise DVT in the last week also, but I couldn't actually.
Okay. So we will ask the strategy towards the end also. And did you give the CBTs, bache?
CBTs, yes. I gave all the 4 CBTs.
Right. And do you think that was a good simulation? And how did you use those papers for revision?
They were really good simulation. And I used to take out printouts of all the explanations of the CBTs I had. And because I like to read from books only, so I used to take out printouts and then used to watch the videos, and I used to add from the videos also. So that was my strategy for it.
And what did you keep for revision towards the end? Because you said last year you gave up towards the end, right? Yes, so this year, how did you make the most of, let's say, last few months before the exam?
For the last 15 days, I had actually been marking I had put post-its on the topics which I thought were really important for last 15 days, and I would forget them if I don't revise. So I just marked them from around October. I started marking such topics. So I revised those topics in the end.
Okay. And was it more of MCQs that you were doing in the end, or was it more of, notes that you were doing in the end?
Towards the end, actually, I was doing more of notes, because if I did MCQs and did not score good, so I would not have felt good. So I just kept on doing notes.
Right. And, you did very well in NIMHANS as well, right? What was your rank in NIMHANS?
17.
Wonderful. So that was a great rank as well. And here, therefore, I would like to ask you, do you think that, you had the right package of things to clear different set of exams? I mean, NIMHANS is totally different ball game as compared to NEET. So, and you were primarily reading the same things. So do you think that it was good enough to compete for any of the exams?
Yes, I think it was good enough. And NIMHANS specifically, I just read psychiatry for the last 1 week, mainly the I just kept reading for NEET mainly. So
Right.
just for 1 week, I focused on NIMHANS.
So you
more
didn't
than
do
that.
anything special otherwise, and you
No.
were able to do so well in NIMHANS as well.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's because the notes are really sufficient.
Great. And also, I would like to ask Vache, ki, a lot of times people lose track in the middle. So how did you ensure that you were always focused and you were always on the right track?
Actually, even I was kind of losing track during the mid-year phase.
Right.
But as I said, I used to study with a friend, and she kept, when I lost track, she pulled me up, and when she lost track, I pulled her up. And the best part about us was that the topics I am weak in, she was strong in, and the topics she's weak in, I was
So you
strong
found
in.
a symbiotic
Yeah.
relationship. That's great. Okay. So yes, so friends and family, they do push you in your lows and support you in your highs as well, and that's a great thing. Okay. And any special advice that you want to give how to appear in the paper itself, because it was a relatively lengthier paper.
Yeah.
And there were long STEM questions. So any advice on that part that you would want to give?
For first of all, I would just say that we should not panic midway during the exam, because if we panic and then then we just make silly mistakes, more of silly mistakes. And secondly, I was first reading the entire questions, and I realized midway that when I read the question, I need to reread the question because I had no idea what I had read first. So then I started approaching the questions in reverse. I used to read the last line, what was the question actually. I used to read the options, and then I read the entire question, so I know what is relevant, and so I don't waste time in rereading the questions.
Okay.
This I did midway during the exam only.
When you realized that it is a lengthier paper.
Yeah, when I
And how
realized
many
it was
questions did you attempt?
I attempted 292 questions.
That's good. So you went aggressive on it.
Yeah, I went aggressive.
Right. And any other strategy that you think? So, for example, if somebody asks you what subjects to focus on or anything specific that you would want to recommend for NEET PG?
Subjects, I think the clinical subjects, medicine, surgery, obs-gynae, and peds, these 4 have to be read. And many people say, when I asked my seniors, many people said that don't focus more on medicine and surgery because everything's the same. But I think we should also focus on medicine and surgery because after rereading medicine and surgery, I realized that I was able to solve more questions correctly. And also, pathology is a really important subject. I had neglected it initially, but I read it later on.
Yeah, because they're all integrated with the clinical sciences. That's great. And in a nutshell, if we have to ask, what would be the most important requirements to get a good rank, then what would those be?
I think that we should not give up. That's one of the most important things.
Right.
And we should read every day, no matter how much, but we should read every day. That's it. We should not take an entire day's break.
Right. So consistency is very, very important, right? And, also I would like to ask you that when it comes to preparation, right? And you were just focusing on your tests and trying to finish the syllabus with it. So do you think that the TND course, how it is framed, was just good enough for the preparation which you thought you were lacking initially and you pulled up over this year?
The test and discussion series is really nice because it's finished in a very appropriate time. It's finished around I joined in mid-Feb, so it was finished in September, and after that we had DVT. So I think it was really
so you kept DVT as your target for revision?
Yes, ma'am. I kept DVT as my target for revision.
Great. And do you think that DVT was helpful as well?
Yes, that was really helpful. Especially the CBT I gave after DVT was really amazing because I think everything was fresh.
Yeah.
So
it was like a rapid revision.
Yeah,
before
it was like
the
a rapid
exams.
revision.
Great. And now if somebody asks you that, is it possible to convert a 13,000 rank to top ranks? What would you say?
It is, I think.
Yes.
Any rank can be converted to a top rank if we just work hard.
She's made it possible. So yes, work hard with consistency, stay focused, stay on the track. I think those are the things that she's followed. It's a simple strategy. There's nothing too much into it, and that's the beauty of it. The more simple you keep your study program, the more confidence you have and better you're going to perform. So anything motivating that you want to say to your juniors or anybody who's listening to you?
I think if I can do it, I guess anyone can do it. I'm not a really brilliant student. I just worked hard.
That's wonderful. Yes. So working hard is definitely the key. And once you are in this branch of medical science, I think you're all brilliant people out there. So all you need to do is put in your hard work and the results will show, right? So what branch do you want to pursue, Bache?
I'm actually thinking about medicine and radiology. I'm a bit confused right now.
Okay, so she's going to take her decision, but I'm sure whatever it is, she's going to be brilliant in her branch and she's going to do really, really well. So we wish you a really bright future ahead, Mahak, and thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Best wishes.
Thank you.